Season 5 Part 1 was released, but it left a lot of questions. Why did Will suddenly develop powers? How did Max end up in Henry's mind? And why did Vecna choose Holly Wheeler as his first victim in the new season? You will be surprised to know that all clues and hidden details were already given, but many people missed them. Luckily, you clicked on this video, and in the next few minutes you will have all the answers about what really happened in Season 5 Part 1 and how it will influence the future in Part 2. Let's start with the moment that left us all in shock at the end of Season 4. Will suddenly gain powers and crush the Demogorgons while protecting his best friends. But there actually were a few details that many didn't notice. Let's recall the events. Season 5 starts with Will waking up in the Wheelers' house. After the Byers' house was sold, the whole Byers family moved to live with the Wheelers. Will hasn't had any visions for over a year, but everything changes one day in the forest when Will starts to feel Vecna again. And this time everything is different. William realizes that he doesn't just see Vecna's new memories. Now he can see through the eyes of the kids whom Vecna chooses as his next victim. If before Will knew he could feel Vecna, now he can actually become Vecna in someone else's mind. The connection that William hated so much now becomes the main bridge to those who need help. But that's not the craziest part. Realizing that all this time Will resisted the connection with Vecna, he finally opens up to it. This allows him to enter Demogorgons' minds and even control their actions. But something very strange happens. With his new power, William raises Demogorgons in the air and breaks them. But this method is the same as Vecna used for all his previous victims. So could this similarity hint at something even darker inside Will? Share in the comments your predictions on Will's future in Season 5. And let's take a look at the new characters and their ending in the show. Dr. K is introduced as the new head scientist, taking over Dr. Brenner's role. From the start, it's clear that her main goal is to capture 11 alive, and she makes everyone believe it's because 11 caused all the deaths and missing kids in Hawkins. But something new appears. During a year and a half of Hawkins' life in quarantine, the military managed to create a powerful weapon that directly influences 11 and can stop her powers. 11 can't even move while the device is working. Even though she manages to escape with Hopper's help, another strange detail happens. In the memories of one of the soldiers, 11 sees a locked door inside Dr. K's lab, and she believes that the military managed to capture Vecna and keep him there. Together with Hopper, they reach the lab only to find out something crazy. The military captured her sister Collie, who in Hawkins' lab was known as Number 8. All this time, Collie was trapped inside this room in the machine that is clearly part of an experiment. Now it's clear how the military knows how to influence 11's powers, as they already tested the device on Collie and were successful. But the darker question rises. Dr. K didn't chase 11 because of the deaths of the kids, she needed her for something else. So what does she really want to do with Collie and 11's powers combined? Make sure to share your theory in the comments, and prepare to find out what really happened with Max and what future is waiting for her in Season 5. At the beginning, we see Max on the hospital bed. Almost a year and a half Max has been in a coma after Vecna's attempt to kill her. Lucas often visits Max, playing her favorite Kate Bush song and sharing the latest news. The scariest predictions are fulfilled, and we find out that Max all this time is trapped inside Vecna's mind. This explains why 11 at the end of Season 4 couldn't find her inside her own body. For already 18 months, Max moves from memory to memory of Vecna's life as Henry, not able to find a way out. But one time everything changes. Trying to reach the real world, Max is found by Henry. He chases her through his memories right to the mysterious cave in the rocks. This is the only place Henry somehow can't enter, which gives Max a chance to create a new plan for escape. And meeting Holly Wheeler inside Vecna's mind makes it real. Even though details of the plan are still unknown, Henry will try to prevent it by killing Max in the real world. That's why in the trailer we see how Lucas carries Max in the elevator right before the Demogorgon attacks them. Dying in the real world, Max will disappear from Henry's mind. But that gives us another important detail. The fact that Holly is also in Vecna's mind means that she is also still alive in the real world and can be rescued. But Holly's part in the story can be much bigger than you expect. In the first episode, we find out that Holly has become older, and surprisingly for her age, she has an imaginary friend. Henry, who introduces himself as Mr. Whatsit, warns her that monsters are hunting kids in Hawkins and promises to protect her. That's exactly what happens a night later. One Demogorgon opens a gate in the ceiling of Holly's room and drags her inside. The events after are unknown, but suddenly we see Holly with Henry at his family house, having cozy and lovely time together. Holly is trapped in Henry's mind, just like Max, who she meets soon. Max had been stuck and hopeless in that place for a long time, but seeing Holly changes everything. Together they can finally begin the plan Max had been preparing all along. But here is something strange. Why in Henry's house do we not see all the other kids that were kidnapped by Vecna just like Holly? And why is Max only starting her plan now, only after Holly appears? Holly seems very important for Vecna and the reason is still unknown. Be sure to comment your thoughts and don't skip this video, because the next detail finally explains who will becomes for real and why Vecna kept him alive at the end. Recall how the first episode starts with the flashback in the past. We see how William, being in the Upside Down, runs from the Demogorgon that is chasing him. Now we know that the Demogorgon was sent by Vecna, just the same way Vecna sent Demogorgons to kidnap Holly and the rest of the kids. But this is when things get strange. After being captured, Vecna inserts something inside Will and says that they will create beautiful things together. This refers to the fact that when Will comes back, he brings a piece of the Upside Down with him into the real world, serving as a door between the two worlds. But this connection plays an even bigger role. At the end, we see how Will develops powers and he not only controls the minds of Demogorgons but brutally kills them. And if you notice, while using his powers, he holds his hand just like 11 does, which is not accidental. 11 and all the other kids in the lab got their powers from the blood of Henry, known as Number 1. And by inserting something into Will, Vecna shared with him exactly the same part of himself. That means Will becomes the last 12th child who got powers from Number 1. And this time his powers are much stronger than anyone else's. But here comes the real question. At the end of episode 4, when Vecna meets Will again, why doesn't he kill him? Why does he leave Will alive? We didn't notice that the answer to this question had been shown to us a long time ago. We know that Vecna doesn't use adults for his goals. In the 4th season, he terrified teenagers, killing them in the real world and storing their versions in his own mind. In the 5th season, he starts chasing small kids, kidnapping them from the real world and locking their versions in his own mind. While it feels random, all this time Vecna is led by one specific goal. Think about this. During his real life, Henry was lonely and didn't have friends. When 11 trapped him in the Upside Down, Vecna was also all alone and didn't have anyone except creatures who follow his commands. Now he collects kids who in the real world were treated badly, not understood by their parents, and didn't have friends just like him. So being surrounded by them, he doesn't feel alone anymore. But Will has a special part in his plan. Will became the first kid Vecna created a connection with, a special item in his kid's collection. And just like he collected spiders when he was a child, he wants Will in his collection, a goal that can be reached only by keeping Will alive. Be sure to comment your theory and prediction about this, and get ready for the biggest reveal you've been waiting for in the whole video. In Season 4, Dustin was always cheerful, funny, and helpful. He was the most excited when running missions and could lighten up any moment with his humor. Everyone liked him and he seemed inseparable from Steve. But everything changes in Season 5. From the early episodes, Dustin becomes more sensitive and easily frustrated. He avoids helping people and even his bond with Steve has changed. Now he rarely smiles and quickly gets into arguments with anyone. It's not without reason. After losing Eddie, someone he looked up to as a hero, Dustin felt a deep sense of loss. He started copying Eddie's hairstyle, wears the Hellfire Club t-shirt everywhere, and even sits in Eddie's place in the dining room. Knowing that Eddie was hated by almost everyone in Hawkins, Dustin also starts feeling anger toward everyone. At the end of episode 4, Dustin, Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan reach the Upside Down and head to the center where everything started, Hawkins' lab. Share in the comments your predictions on their future in Season 5 and how everything will end for them. But these are not even all the big questions from Season 5 Volume 1. There are still countless mysteries waiting to be revealed in the next part. Don't forget to share how did you like Season 5 so far, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel.